With the peace agreement finally signed, much-needed development programs and projects are certain to pour into Muslim Mindanao. And these undertakings will not only come from the national government. There's also great interest from other sources. Again, here's Freddie Abando.
It took only 3 years for the Aquino administration to win the peace with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front when the comprehensive Bangsamoro Agreement was signed last week.
The President is very much committed to see through na makarating to sa hanggang dulo na talagang ma-achieve natin yung real peace in Mindanao. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
The next stage of the process is the submission to Congress of the draft bill crafted by the Transition Commission, which will spell out the scope of how the agreement will take its course. The overwhelming consensus in both houses is to pass the bill, which will fully implement the creation of the new Bangsamoro entity by 2016.
Both the Senate President and the Speaker and key officers of both chambers have expressed support for the peace process, the peace agreement, as well as support for the Organic Act, which will now put together the fundamental law that will underpin the Bangsamoro.
Key programs and projects will be implemented during the transition period to cover major infrastructure projects, food production, social intervention programs to include more resources to be spent for education and health, plus enhancing the government's conditional cash transfer program.
There will be more resources going to ARM, both from the national government, as it is committed to continue to provide that block grant of subsidy which we give, which has ranged from about 13 billion to 14 billion every year. So that will continue. But there will also be, dividends from the peace process, because the government is definitely concerned and it's committed to showing the Bangsamoro people that signing the agreement will result in more services being provided, more businesses being set up, more investment being made, especially foreign. So I think that is a commitment of government. But
Budget Secretary Florencio Abad stressed that aside from government providing funds for development, there is great interest of helping from bilateral and multilateral sources. The United States and Japan, the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and other development partners from the European Union, England, Canada, and Australia have expressed their commitment to help. The new Bangsamoro entity to be created is also emerging as a favorite destination of investments in large-scale plantations for palm oil, rubber, banana, oil, and natural gas exploration. Abad said he sees great promise that the poorest region of the country will emerge as the new of prosperity in the future.
Many of the multilateral, bilateral, and private investors who are observing what is happening are convinced that this is truly going to be the beginning of a regime of peace in the area, which is really one of the key conditions that will attract bilateral, multilateral, international NGOs to increase their investments in the region. And the beneficiary here is not just the Bangsamoro, because when we say the conflict in Mindanao, it also affects areas that are not really engulfed in conflict.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.